Hello and welcome to Flashback Generation's review on 2006's Mark of Chaos by Namco Bandai Games, a game that bears quite a resemblance to Total War's version of the same old world. Mark of Chaos came out promising quite a lot: faithfulness to the tabletop game, thousands of units, and fully co-op play. All of this was pure lies, which didn't go unnoticed by the community, myself included, wondering just what had I bought myself into. So, in a nutshell, this game is a Rome Total War clone. In the base game, you only get to be Chaos or Empire. The add-on for it added in Dark Elves and Orcs. I've never played the add-on to comment though. A big difference in Mark of Chaos to Sega's Total War is the big map. In Mark of Chaos you are effectively just an army, and between missions there's a campaign map that you go from mission to mission. Total War lets you do as you like, as you are the governor of a province in the old world, which makes a huge difference overall. The sound in Mark of Chaos is pure Warhammer. The usual decent voice acting found between missions, but I found the in-game music to be a little generic.
I'm gonna crush them all!
In a nutshell, this game is not as good as the Total War series due to a lack of tactics in the actual game. I believe that the developers failed due to mashing three elements together: the rules, the past games, and the Total War series. Let me explain. The tabletop rules that they promised didn't really work. Due to the base system and implementing the rulebook, they were really incompatible, and it created very unbalanced units and rules. This was really obvious from the start of the game, which they later tried to patch, but it didn't really work properly. The next problem was the success of the two games from the 90s. These seem to have bled in with their influences of how this final game would play out as well. It's possible that the original idea was to recreate Dark Omen, but as the project unfolded, gradually they pushed it towards Rome Total War. The Total War series was flying by this stage, with Rome Total War being a massive hit. The developers must have looked at it quite favourably as a game they could morph themselves. The best thing that Mark of Chaos realistically did was the intro. After Dawn of War getting all the 40k fanboys excited, this was the first incredible glimpse of what the old world had to offer. At the time, this was groundbreaking in terms of animation. I recall getting excited at the prospect of a CG Warhammer movie, and I'm still waiting for it. I always thought that the stories would lend themselves really well to the CG film audience, and honestly I think it's a shame that the only venture GW have ever done was Ultramarines. I've actually written a review of that film a few years back that you can see in my notes below. Back to Mark of Chaos. It's an odd game in a sense that it's not that bad, but it sort of failed itself by over-promising on what to expect. It should have tried a little harder to be its own game and excel at it, rather than pandering to these empty promises. I only got so far in this before I ultimately got bored of what seemed like endless tutorials, even with a few missions in. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
I is the most cunning boss in the world.